What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to The Certified Man. My name is KD Bo. Very honored to be here, and of course, we jump right into it. To my to my left, and your right, that dude, Deezy, Derwin Davis.
What's up, good people? Glad to be here with you tonight.
Yeah, that's your sexy voice? What's happening right now?
Man, you talking about the sexy voice? Man, I got to go high pitch. Man, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm glad to be here tonight.
You're doing something.
Happy to see you.
Something to it. And to my right, this is the guy, bro, we've been talking about. And, we referenced him on the show. And, of course, he's in the studio with us again. Make some noise for Demond Mickens.
Yes, sir.
What's up, people?
You good, man?
I'm good, bro.
So I was, bro, before we even decided to bring all of us together, there's a commonality that we have I didn't even think of until I was going down the elevator to get you. And that is, we are three men sitting at this table who, I don't know how the best way to say it nicely, we're all divorced.
Yeah, we've been through that D word.
Yeah.
We've been deed.
Yeah, we did. No, Dennis. What we're not going to do. What we're not going to do.
No.
We're not going to start this way. But yeah, we are on this side of marriage. And so, of course, I'm in a new marriage, last marriage, Saints.
Same here.
Same here. And you got it on layaway.
I'm engaged.
Okay, you got it on layaway. Gotcha. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of take time to just kind of discuss a couple of things. Number one, I'm going to ask you a question off the rip. You're divorced. Are you tainted?
I need to know more what you mean by tainted.
Are you tainted? Do you got, the scarlet letter D on your back? I mean, is it, or do you have, or have you somehow been besmirched by not making good choices and you messed up and, God said it's supposed to be forever and you chose not to do that and now you're married again and, all y'all going to hell, apparently we going, Yeah. So, I mean, do you feel that way?
No, I don't. I do realize that there were some lessons that I had to learn. And one of the things I say to myself all the time is I've learned more by having to go through divorce than ever I did by being married.
Wow.
Being married allowed me to hide my issues in the marriage. It's like you can blame somebody as long as they're in the house with you. It's like, but when you by yourself for a little while, and the clothes still in the floor, or the dishes ain't washed, or the bills are stacking up, there's nobody to blame. You have to be accountable, and it made me accountable. So the whole point of feeling like tainted, no, I had my own issues with God to deal with, and I wanted to blame. I wanted to go through the blame game, but it didn't work out for me. At the end of the day, when I still opened my eyes in the morning, it was just me.
Well, let me ask you this, bro. What if the situation, and I won't get in specifics, I'm going to honor, I won't say anything you don't say, either of you. Yeah. And don't say nothing that I don't say, either of you.
I won't say it.
Right. But what if there's just a little bit of blame to pass around though, bro?
Blame has no redemptive value.
You said that last episode.
It doesn't.
But in this case, though.
No, still.
He said, let me get a little bit of blame.
I meant, even in that divorce healing journey.
Yeah.
God bless my ex. Whatever her stuff is, that's her stuff. But oftentimes, my stuff could actually inflame other stuff. And I can't hold someone else and say your stuff is your fault, because oftentimes our reactions to other people's stuff is our stuff.
That's good.
Okay, break that down some more. So your stuff inflamed her stuff.
Yeah. So let's talk these words. There's an issue and there's a fire, but I'm showing up to the fire, putting gas on it. And now I'm trying to say, because the flames are everywhere, oh, it's your fire. But no, I have to take accountability for my gas being put on that fire. I could have come to that fire with water.
Wow, bro.
I could have come to that fire with a strategy to put that out. I could have done the work on me to recognize that this is prone to being on ablazed. This is fire prone. So if I don't want to be in fire, I could have did the work and healed me to recognize, hey, this like to set fire. You know, it got a fire Marshall Bill spirit on you. Know, let me tell you something. But you know, so it gets nowhere saying their stuff. Does our exes have their stuff? Yes, but it doesn't change. It doesn't change us. And I've had to learn what's my part that I play. I'm a musician. So I can fuss all day long that the bass player is not playing his notes. But I'm over here not hitting my drums right.
Right.
And I added to it sounding sucky too. Because guess what? When I go to the next band and it is a bass player that's playing right, then my issues still highlighting the problem.
You know what's getting me, man, what's really present to me right now is it's oftentimes not the loudest issue that is the cause. Because you can't get mad at the forest fire when you're standing there holding a spent match. And if we are initiators and women are receptors, and I'm not that guy I'm not that guy that's going to be like, it's all men's problem. It's all men's fault. No, I don't believe that. I don't live there at all. But I do feel like we're creators and we're cultivators by God. In the beginning, God created man in his image. What is God's image? He was a creator. He created the world. And he also cultivated what he created. And I'm saying if we created a marriage, we created a family, then God gives us the ability to cultivate that marriage.
Right.
And there are things that will go wrong in it that, in truth, if I had caught it soon enough and I didn't respond to it, and I didn't react to it, I responded to it properly, maybe some of the ways that I showed up would not have exasperated the scenario.
Hardly.
And that's tough because that is a grown man conversation. We talked last week about responsibility. We all have the ability to choose our response.
Right.
The response that I chose out of my toolbox was to blame.
Yeah.
You right?
Yeah.
To, do some dastardly things, you know?
He said dastardly things.
Yeah, I did say dastardly, so I had to fix that a little bit. But in truth, when we accept responsibility, you don't accept responsibility sometimes for the whole thing. The whole thing ain't your fault, but you got to find your part.
Yes. And that's what I'm talking about. And one thing I have learned about, post-divorce is that what's my part? What part did I play in it? Because guess what? As you start moving your life on, you're going to continue to play that part again. And I learned in my divorce that I was a little boy who could pay bills. I was a little boy who could perform. And I've really had to do a lot of emotional work. I was an emotional brick. I was slick with my mouth, calloused, all kind of things that I learned after the fact. And I've had to own that. And so that's something that I've really had to take hold to of, you know what? Your emotional health impacts a lot.
It does.
Yeah. But I'm sitting here thinking, what about the people that say, well, she was overbearing. She never allowed me to be the man that I was really designed or destined to be. And even as I'm saying that out of my mouth, I know that that's not accurate.
Yeah, it don't even feel right, do it?
No, it doesn't, because do you believe that a woman can stop you, either of you, from becoming the man you're supposed to be?
No.
No, I don't believe that.
No,
I don't. I do think, though, depending on where you are in your growth as a man, sometimes boys growing into men think it means to be a good man to cater and give everything that you want to, that woman wants. And I learned hard way that you can't do that. There's no respect there.
No.
Like every time she wants something, you're bending and breaking to make sure that she has what she needs. And she needs you to stand.
Yeah, but that's what we hear, though. We hear that the perfect guy is the guy that whatever she want. T.I., you can have whatever you like. That's the guy.
If you have whatever you like, you won't have it long.
What do you mean?
Having whatever you like never is, it's always a balance in it, man. People that are disciplined get somewhere because they learn that it's not everything about everything you like. I don't like eating salads every day.
Oh, I got you.
So that whole, you can have whatever you like. Anybody that gets everything that they like all the time. I'm not saying that you don't build it. It's in moderation, but you got to deal with certain things you don't like. Show me a healthy relationship to everything that you like. There's some stuff right now that you don't like that's balanced with the things that you do like. And it puts you back into perspective. So no, catering.
And then giving everything to your woman that she thinks that she wants at the time doesn't allow her to reach in and see any stability in you. If every time I reach in and you move, every time I try to touch you, you doing whatever I like, subconsciously, I don't trust that.
That's a malleable, that's a movable piece.
It's a feminine trait.
Oh, that's right, bro. Oh, that's crazy. But that's true because the feminine is...
It moves.
It moves.
Yes.
But the masculine is stoic. It stands. It's like, wow, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's crazy on something because in counseling this week with Dr. Cola, I was like, what's the word? And he was talking about something. I was like, be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord. And hearing you say that is like, that's that masculine trait is learning how to, as we talk about, hold that frame.
Yeah, hold the frame.
Because that feminine is always movable. They feel like this way at 5 o'clock, but 7 o'clock, they're going to feel something way different. But holding your frame.
And they're not liars for that either.
No, they're not. The way of superior man.
Yeah, the way of the superior man. They're not liars, bro. They speak according to the emotion that is present at the moment.
Yes.
And when that emotion is no longer there in the next moment, they're going to say something entirely different. What we as men have to do is hold frame.
Absolutely.
And know what's happening.
Right.
Like she's gonna be all over, but she needs to be able to come to the center, and you're still there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Oh yeah.
I also believe. I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? I used to be the guy who, when my wife had a bad day, I was guaranteed to have a bad day.
Ooh.
When she was in a vibe, man, I was guaranteed to have a vibe because I had her in a position of happiness and in essence, my primary caretaker. I was expecting my joy to come from her. And if she's not happy with me, clearly I'm not doing something right. So why am I around here happy and joyful and bouncing and what have you, when I clearly am not presenting a situation where she can be at peace or happy or whatever. And sometimes it had nothing to do with me, bro.
It had nothing to do with you.
It had to do with her own stuff. And so that was one of the ways which I'm constantly always trying to entreat her. Is everything okay? You sure? Let me cook something for you. Let me run your bath water. Let me do all those kind of things. And that's the kind of stuff. Oh God, man, help me, Jesus. I don't even want to get an attitude about this. But when I think about how I used to be, I realize how much, and there's no redemptive value in going to the past either, other than to learn not to do some things that you used to do. But when I look at it, I say, whatever you chase runs from you.
Right.
So I'm chasing after her instead of being solid and sturdy enough to attract her, because that is an incredible attractant. So I had to become a stoic, solid rock. Matter of fact, we got to go here. We got to go here. The little girl in the tree.
Yeah.
You blessed me when you came over to my house one day. We was in a tent, and you just came out of your soul with some of the wisest words that I thought I'd ever heard as related to my marriage.
Modern rabbi.
Yeah, so you blessed me. And I told him about it. And when we brought it up again recently, he was like, "Oh, he told you that? Oh, dude, you know, bowing and all this stuff."
I get it. That was a setup. I got you. But yeah, I have so much love for you as a brother. And when we were talking at that time, we were sharing some things that were deep to the heart. And I've learned through my path, there were some things that I messed up. Yeah. And then you've learned some things through your path that you've messed up. So you always check me when I need to be checked. And in that moment, it felt like you had an excuse. There was an excuse that you had for the way you were. And I've been down that road of that excuse, of having that excuse. And all I saw at that time in relationships, what I saw was every time that our spouse would come to us with something because we're trying to bend and give them what they want, it's like they just want to be a girl at the end of the day. So she wanted to come hang her hook, her swing on your tree. And every time she hangs it on the tree falls over.
Mm.
You get 2 to 3 times to do that before she doesn't trust you anymore. And that's what I was saying that day. I also feel like even when we're dealing with feisty or combative women, I also believe that they're being combative to us to test us to see if we can protect them.
That's good.
It's like, if you can't protect yourself from me, how you going to protect me in the world? I think that's what it is. And when we in these positions and they being combative and we responding to them and then we're fighting instead of just standing and when you done, I'll still be here.
Yeah.
They're stopping some
Man,
point.
say that one more time.
When you done, I'll still be here. Because I think they're trying to test us. It's a subconscious thing. They need to be protected. They need a man who's a protector. So if I can get you away, if I can get you to move out of this spot, I'll take it. But if you don't, you got it.
Oh, that is, I told you he's the modern rabbi, okay?
Yeah.
That resonates so much because it's holding your frame. Something you said to me that changed my whole entire life. You know, I was freshly divorced. And I went through this, what I call hot boy summer. Yeah, I'm the pastor, but it was,
Hot boy summer.
it was a summer. And I never forget, we were out, and you asked me one question. I was sitting on the sofa and you said, why are you opening her up? And if you can't ask that question as a man, then you have failed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it made that whole summer dry up. It was a conviction.
Eventually.
No, it was literally 2 weeks later.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I remember because I took a picture that night. I had on the seersucker suit. 2 weeks later, I was done.
Mm-hmm.
I took the picture. I remember.
He's so petty.
100%.
But seriously, I mean, it's something about learning how to hold that frame.
Mm.
So help us. How do you work on doing that? How do you work on saying, you know what, when you're done, I'll be here? How do you get to that point?
How do you get to that point? First of all, nobody taught us as boys. Nobody taught us that when I confront you, I want you to hold frame as a boy. Like, even though you may have done this wrong, or maybe this wasn't right, as a parent, I'm going to get upset with you. But that doesn't mean you go hide or go run. Or I just want you to know that we may have a combative moment. And I don't call it combative. We may have a disagreement, but I still want you to be standing at the end of this. And maybe we didn't learn that as boys. Like, I learned that conflict meant that something was over.
Yes.
Yes.
That's good.
Oh, yes.
That's good.
It was done. So, of course, we're going to avoid conflict. We're going to avoid conflict. That's where lying come from. I'm going to lie about it. Man, I lied so much in my first marriage. I lied. I was still a boy.
Yeah.
And to a point where the lying made it seem like there was no ground for her to stand on.
Oh, wow.
So
you were a terrible liar.
Just call it a terrible liar. It just, and you know, it just came from
I appreciate your ownership in that.
Yeah, no, because it came from a sense of fear. Fear, I'm sorry. It came from fear. I don't want to go through this combative thing. As a matter of fact, going through a fight meant that we have to be apart now.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Yes. Bro.
Now we got to be apart for days.
Get it. Yes, I get it.
So whatever you need to hear to get through this, I'm going to tell you. It wasn't lying out of like malice or any of that. That's where it didn't start. Then it turned into other stuff.
Right.
But it immensely started where I just don't want to deal with this.
Being passive.
Exactly. So I think it starts where, as boys, to teach them how to hold frame as a boy. If you got a 7-year-old or 12-year-old, like, okay, you didn't get this right. We're going to talk about it. Yes, I might get upset, but you're still going to live. I'm still going to love you. And nobody did that to us. Like,
right.
Man,
it sounds so refreshing just to hear, bro. That sounds extremely refreshing, and it opens my heart in a way that I did not expect with those words that you just used. Yeah, this is where we are. but it doesn't mean that we have fallen out.
Yes.
It don't mean that I don't love you.
Don't mean
I just
it.
don't like what happened. I just need a minute. I need you to not do, I'm talking about my parents.
Mhm.
I need you to not do that again,
Mhm.
Right.
but I still love you. That's a different feel, bro.
It is. It is. And I think that if we learn that, we can approach our relationships different because we keep approaching it with that little boy mentality.
Yeah.
Like, how do I get through this and still have you? And I don't want to deal with this issue that way. If we still trying to avoid the conflict, then we're gonna avoid the lesson in it.
Well, it's the nice guy syndrome.
It's the nice guy.
It is, in fact, the nice guy syndrome, which is that we somehow feel that we are intrinsically flawed somehow in some way, and we are not worthy of love.
Mhm.
That's what the nice guy is. So what we end up
Absolutely.
doing is we do the dance. We get along to get along. We say yes when we really want to say no. We go when we really want to stay. It's doing all of the things to earn somebody else's love, to earn her love,
Mhm.
with the gifts, the buying of stuff. And so when you give them something or you buy them something or you do something for them, now you're not necessarily standing there like a dog with your tongue out panting, but you're standing there like a dog with your tongue out panting because you need the attaboy.
You need an attaboy.
You need the attaboy. That's why I did it. I want to make sure you're happy. And if you're just not really like, it's okay. Oh, so I didn't do good.
Mhm.
I wasn't worthy.
Right.
But I need you to love me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say this while we're on this subject. I feel like the love we have in our relationships is very necessary. However, I don't think that that's the only love we should strive for in life. Because when we put too much pressure,
You're good, bro.
we put too much pressure on that relationship for that woman or that man, wherever relationship you're in. If you put too much pressure on that, you're going to suffocate it. And when I was having this issue a summer ago, I was having this issue with my now wife, Aisha. And I was thinking like, man.
What's her name, Doc?
Aisha Mickens. I was having this issue. So I was, one summer, I was having an emotional day. And when I talked to her, she didn't give me the attaboy that day, or I missed you, or when I saw her, she didn't hug me. And I left her presence like,
Feeling some type of way.
what's going on? She ain't. And then when I talked to God about it, he's like, you have really diminished yourself to try to make sure that she can give you all the love that you need. And that's not how I created this. And he showed us an illustration in our bodies. Like, your heart has 4 major vessels that come to your heart. If you rely on one of those vessels, the other 3 are blocked. You rely on one of those vessels, you will die. Your blood pressure's going to raise.
Yeah, that's good.
And you're going to have a cardiac arrest.
So what you're saying is you have to get, you need to get nourishment from your marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You also need to get nourishment from your friends.
From the things you love.
And the things you love.
The things you love.
Hobbies.
Yes, man. I'm a bass player, and there was a summer where I wasn't even playing. And so I didn't realize that I'm coming to her looking for the love that I should have been out in the music place playing. I wasn't getting it. So I'm looking at her like, fill these other things up for me.
Yeah,
she's like, I don't know what you want me to do.
I was over at my side chick house the other night, and I was telling her the same thing. I was like, we need to.
You just going you trying to get everybody killed because they're like they boys, really. He joking, y'all. God dog.
I'm bugging. My wife is, she's from Patterson. She don't like when I say that, but that's where you're from. The lean on me school. Yeah, she went.
Can you make your wife the side chick too?
Yes, and that's good. That's really good. But that's a different skill set.
Ooh, yeah, I guess so.
It is. It's a different skill set. And I think, I don't know about the class for that, bro. I really don't know about the class for that. But making your wife also your chick on the side. And I say it a lot, but it's got to be a pattern or a method to that. Do you know?
No, I don't know. I will say, though, the only way I can look at doing it is to let my relationship evolve. Meaning that the way that I know her today or the way I knew her last year, I don't expect to know her that way next year. So we're working together. So I want to find out the other parts of her and let's try something different. I'm not even talking. I'm like, let's go out something different. Let's do something you want to do. And if you're doing that, I think that you're evolving together. It's a mentality. And I think I'm going to call myself out here. Let me see how much I'm going to call myself out. Years ago, when I was married, I remember going and doing stuff I wasn't supposed to do. I was in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And
selling drugs?
No, I wasn't selling drugs, man.
Okay. What were you doing?
I was looking for extracurricular activity with other women. 100%.
You didn't have to say that, bro. We kind of got it.
I know. I want to make sure it's clear in case this clip come out. So that's what I was doing. But I realized that all of the energy that I had to spend doing that, why can't I give that at home?
That's so good,
man.
Bro.
So keep going.
No, I'm good because like literally, if you think about it, anybody, you can try to say that it ain't gonna cost me. It's gonna cost you.
It definitely
it's gonna cost you. You don't even have that peace no more. You carrying your phone around. I'm like, you know what? I don't think this is worth it. It wasn't worth it to me. And I learned in those moments to count up the cost. So when I see guys going that route and doing that, I'm like, man, you are sacrificing your peace. You're sacrificing your own integrity. And I believe integrity is what you believe in your own heart.
Mm.
It's the words that you made to yourself.
Right.
So if you're going against your own self, you're standing out of alignment with your own self.
100%. Oh, man, I would love to delve more into that. But what were you going to say?
No, I call it the refrigerator versus the cooler. The refrigerator, when it's operating healthy, it automatically keeps things cold. But that cooler, you got to keep putting ice in it.
Mm-hmm.
And the ice is nice because the ice is out and about. You got that cooler. But again, how much effort and energy do you have to keep putting ice to keep this cold?
Mm-hmm.
And that's, main piece, side chick, it's a cooler, ice. And some folks like that ice because the ice is out.
Mm-hmm.
But how much energy do you have to keep putting out in that area? And so it's learning, especially with me, is that the ice always melts. And it's never going to be officially there.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But I think a lot of men have accepted the fact that it's never going to be officially there. I'm not leaving this under no circumstance. So I'm going to keep filling that cooler up.
But because it's, when I want it to be there, then I put the energy in it to make it. But let me say this. If there was a book that I would love for people to read, and this may be triggering, and I get it, would be, and I'll make it on both sides, lessons I learned from the side chick, from the side dude. To read that book, if my wife would read it, if I would read it, I think that we would probably notice that a lot of the side situations was not always about sex.
No.
It wasn't always about sex. You know what it was for? Especially for a man. I don't know about women. But I feel seen.
Like admired,
I feel like
desired.
you see me. I feel like you admire. I feel like you desire. I feel like, man, I feel appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
And although I know this is a cooler, I don't know. I feel like getting this is doing something for me. So I don't make what you're getting bad. Who you're getting it from, not so much.
Mm.
But what you're getting is not bad. And it's being able to have those conversations that I think maybe that book might be able to teach somebody. Now, me, myself personally, Katie Bowe, will never bring that book home and say, hey, babe, here's a book I think you should read. Lessons from my side chick. Yeah, read that.
Yeah, I wrote the foreword.
Yeah.
Personal experience,
Yeah.
And I think having the need to be seen, having the desire to be admired, no rhyme intended, is a thing. And I don't think that we need to demonize that on either side, because what we're facing is there's something happened where your tone became one that she couldn't really embrace. She couldn't really hear it. You know, her tone was one that you really couldn't hear. You really couldn't embrace. So she may, or he may be giving you what you need, but those filters that you got up won't allow it to seep through.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
No, I'm with you 100%. I think, Damon said something about the four, it was ventricles and, of your heart. I think that culture becomes, you got your main woman, you got your side chick, when loving is outsourced. Meaning I got to go outwardly to get that love.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. This is good, bro. Yeah, this is good.
So you are the one that you've been looking for. Again, like you're talking about the base, is recognized there's parts of you, but you will never get into a fulfillment until there are certain parts that you can love of yourself.
Yeah.
And it's never going to be loved right. Because we won't talk about this, but one of the worst things and why so many guys recycle through so many side chicks is knowing, yeah, it's fun, but it ain't it. It never really scratches the itch.
Yeah, it's like a drug.
And it's like the cooler in a sense, it's gone. And I just got to find something else to put in the cooler because that ain't it. And so it's getting to that point of being able to really dig deep in and love that part of you yourself. And that creates that area of going up. And I realize in a lot of my own stuff is that me not loving me and thinking I'm going to get that externally, it costs, it destroys, it diminishes, and you're never going to get that fullness.
Yes.
And so, we are garden people. And I really believe that we have we can cultivate as a man that garden that feeds yourself that's solid.
Yes.
That doesn't become the thing. Because, the easiest thing we can get is an orgasm. But that true love and that true admiration, that true respect, that ain't coming easy.
No. And I don't know if anybody can really give it to you like the way you're supposed to have it. And I think that's the work we need to do first.
Right.
We need to learn self-love. And this becomes such a cliche to say, but it's so necessary. You fill your glass up first. It's not arrogant to do that. And when you do, then you can love somebody effectively. But if you're not doing the work on yourself, there's no way you can. As a matter of fact, we can hate ourselves more than we can love ourselves. Easier.
Yep.
There's been plenty of times where you probably looked in the past, or you've looked at yourself in the mirror and it's like, why I got this? Or you've easily I'm not like I was, or whatever it might be. And it's like, you can look at yourself with disgust.
Yeah.
That's contempt. You can't be in contempt of self.
Wow.
Like literally in court, if you're in contempt of court, they put you out. They put you in jail.
Wow.
If you, I think I told you this before, there's a study that they did on marriage, and they could tell within the microsecond if a marriage will last by one look.
Oh, wow.
It's a look of contempt.
Yeah, it's the four horsemen.
By John Gottman.
Apocalypse. Yeah, John Gottman.
If you have that look of contempt, they will tell you that it's done.
95% chance it's over.
But we can see that clearly when it comes to something else outside of us. But you look at yourself.
Wow.
And you in contempt of self. It's like you're out of alignment. You have to love yourself. Let's start there before you can love somebody else effectively.
Loving yourself, though, sounds like, again, like a very cliche thing to say, but what does that really mean? And I've come to believe, and you can help me out here, either one of you, that it is loving the parts of yourself, all parts of yourself.
Yeah.
That even the parts that you feel that are unlovable.
Yeah.
And you bring a sense of compassion and understanding and patience to the parts of yourself.
Yes.
The criticism, the critical part of you, the angry part of you, the judgmental part of you.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes all of those parts are necessary. But what happens is when trauma comes in, we tend to exile certain parts of ourselves, and then these other parts take over. Right. Like I was on my walk this morning. Man, this might be a little deep. Let me figure out how to say this in a way that it makes sense. But of course, I'm reading the book. You are the one you've been waiting for. And there's another book called No Bad Parts.
Yes, internal family systems.
Yep. It's about the internal family system. Mm-hmm. So I was talking to a member of my internal family on my walk today. Mm-hmm. And that was the part.
And a member of your internal family is parts of you.
It's parts of me.
Right.
Right. It's parts of me. And there are sometimes some parts of you, they speak louder than other parts. And they're called protectors and managers. And I don't want to get too deep into that. Right. Hopefully we'll do a course on that or whatever. But I was talking to that 17, 18-year-old version of me that was thrown into exile, the open-hearted, full of love, full of vigor, man, hopeful part of me was thrown into exile when my girlfriend at the time broke up with me, and I was a virgin, she was a virgin, and she had intimate relations with somebody else so quickly. And what that said to me, the meaning that I put on that was, well, you are not good enough.
Yeah.
You don't have enough to be able to have somebody like that. So you know what? You ain't no sense of crying about it. My protector said, I got you. And it kicked in. And I'm going to be honest. When it kicked in, I leveled up. I got better, got her back, but that wound was actually still there.
Yep.
That part of me, which was always there, by the way, it just took a bigger role.
Yeah.
And said, oh, don't worry about it. My heart closed. The 18, 17-year-old heart closed, and I became merit-based. I began, now, if I'm going to get it, and I'm going to get it, I'm just going to outwork everybody in the room to get it. And it worked for me. Mm-hmm. I became the top in my field. I started really, really grinding. I started really, really showing up. I started really doing all of the things. But it was when I needed the 17, 18-year-old open-hearted version of me to really show up. He was in exile. And so it was him that I was talking to today. And I was talking to the protector part and saying, hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Because I appreciate you being there and getting me through some of those tough times. I could have lost it if it wasn't for you. However, you was protecting a 17, 18-year-old version of me. I need you to turn around and look at me.
Yeah.
I'm 51 years old now. Yeah. I don't need you in that position anymore. So I thank you for your service.
Right.
I'm going to always have you in here, but you got to get in the place where you're supposed to be. I'm on this walk today because you're helping me upgrade my life. However, you cannot any longer have me in my marriage and in my relationships feeling like I don't qualify because I don't have enough or I am not enough.
Wow.
When in fact I am.
Ooh. Yes. That's good. That ability to get to a place that you know within yourself and all of you, strengths, weaknesses, all your parts, that you are enough, is, I think, the journey when a man turns his life around.
Mm.
And that's one big thing that I've learned after divorcing and going through that journey. And I'm actually on that journey now, that I'm enough. I used to be a person that I lived my life through performing in whatever area, whether it was career, whether it was pastoring, whether it was business. I went on stage of my life for the applause because I felt like Derwin wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
And if you knew this part about Derwin, then you wouldn't accept all of them. If you knew this part about Pastor, it's not, and I'm learning as I'm healing and going through all of me, this part actually makes me more relatable and a better pastor. Yeah. But I used to put that joke in the closet.
Ooh.
And, try to put zip ties around his hands. And then, he'll break the zip ties and go do something you ain't got no business doing.
Yeah.
But, that's because you're denying that part of you. Versus if you accept that part of you, work on all of you, know that you are enough, and everybody sitting at the table, things change. And that's one big thing that I've had to deal with growing in this place is like, who is all of me?
Mm.
And do I like me?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
That's where you got to start.
Yeah. And guess what? This, which is a weak area, this area can be addressed. But I need all of me to show up. And one of the hardest things that I had to go through in my life is, I would call it transitioning and repositioning people, that as all of me started showing up, now you're acting different. Now you're feeling yourself.
Mm.
No, it's just all of me is showing up.
Mm.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Would you say you're easy to love? Either of you?
I'll let Derwin answer that first.
I gasp. I think I'm working on becoming easier to love because as I'm loving myself primarily, it's easier to be a secondary lover. I think in the past, I was terrible to love.
Easy for someone else to be a secondary lover.
Yeah, yes, that's what I mean by that. Is that now that I'm assuming and really vehemently and strongly approaching, I am my primary lover. There's nobody, God has given me the gift of me to love me.
Yeah.
So now I think it's becoming easier as I assemble in that role. Historically, I think it was probably painful and terrible to love me.
You answer the question.
Well, I my challenge with answering that is, what would I say makes me easy to love if I would say yes? And when I think about it, I'm gonna be honest, bro. A lot of it is merit-based.
I understand.
And I don't believe that is what makes me specifically easy to love, because I can buy this, or I can provide this, or I can say this, I can do that. But it's like, what about me and my internal compass? What about my peace, my integrity?
Yeah.
Are I and my word one? You know? That's what makes me wonder. And I don't know. I mean, I'm in process of it. I'm working on it, but I don't know if I'm easy to love, bro.
I understand that answer. And if I answer it, it's probably, I feel like in my strong man, I am damn easy to love.
You're so arrogant.
And my insecure self says, no, I'm not. I'm not going to say I'm not. It's going to be more like I don't know. Maybe, possibly. And I say that because the more I heal, the more I see myself. And I understand myself. I even know, you can't tell me that the 10-year-old Damon is not easy to love. He's not. I've been the favorite for a while. Like, so even if that's not the total truth, but the point is, you can't look at that kid and not love him. And that kid grew into a man. Where in that process were you not easy to love?
Wow.
So the 10-year-old version of you, you're saying that he is easy to love.
Of course. And he's still here. That's all I'm saying.
I love that. You know, I wrote a short story about that recently, about the little boy. Because I used to think about the little boy in terms of being immature, being pouty. But in actuality, I want to revisit the ways of being of that little boy.
Yeah.
Because he had an open heart.
He had an open heart.
The idea right now, man, this is honestly why the challenge is so hard for me to answer that, because my biggest challenge now is to live with an open heart. I've lived so long merit-based. I've lived so long with, hey man, you knock on the door, you give them a few seconds to open it, and you kick that mug in. Don't let nobody stop you from getting it.
Yeah.
But I understand that was like my protectors talking. So now what I realize is that even Jesus, who has all the power in the world, hell, he made the wood that created the door. He stands at the door and does what? Knocks. He don't bust in. But it is with love and compassion and with an open heart. Jesus said, suffer the little children to come unto me. He said, if you have faith like this, like a child. And my thing is, I want to have an open heart because I believe that this next season demands a version of me that people will feel my heart.
Yeah.
And they won't just see my actions. They'll feel my heart.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I'm all the way off from that, but I honestly know, bro, that I have work to do in that space.
Yeah.
And especially in a marriage, man, I'm in that space now where I just want to be the best version of myself. And a man of God, I was talking to him today on the phone, and hopefully we'll get to do some work with him. But man, he really spoke a word to me. So during my miracle morning, I said, I was talking to God, I said, God, he showed me some things. I said, well, I don't want to be picky here, but I would love for you to confirm this with somebody else today. They call me or whatever. I run into him. And that's exactly what happened. Man, he prophesied to me and he was saying about that space of this will be the season that, you will be able to seed or water yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've watered everybody else.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is the season for you to water yourself. And this is what God told me in my time of prayer. It's time for you to be selfish.
That's good.
And that's okay.
Yes.
He said, but this is time for you to seed yourself.
Yes.
And I'm going to handle all of the other stuff, the things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that really blessed me. So I'm in that place now where I want the version of me that I see in my head. I am definitely walking towards that guy because that guy is definitely easy to love.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's probably in what we're saying here, like loving ourselves on that journey.
Yeah.
My conversation is sometimes more of not saying that I'm not enough. I don't have enough. Mm. And I think in my prayer time with God, he's
that's
like,
such a tough one, bro.
Who told you that?
Wow.
That's such a tough one though.
Wow.
Because you honestly know, like we know when the 1st and the 15th or whatever the day our bills are, we know.
Yeah.
We know, and you can look in your account.
Yes.
You can open up, you can see.
But I think we have to be careful with accepting that mindset of I don't have enough.
Very good, bro.
Because if you accept that mindset, when it's there, you won't see it.
Mm-hmm.
It's you see whatever you prime your mind to see.
Mm.
And if that's what I live with, and that's in here all the time, when I do have money in the account or what is coming through, I'm setting myself up not to have enough. So, and I can't be a servant or son of God and tell myself that. Yes. It's like my dad, he used to call me the prodigal son all the time.
Really?
Wow.
He did. Because when I lived in Chicago and I moved to Georgia the first time, it was 2007. And we went to IHOP somewhere and he was sitting down talking to me. He's like, well, you sure you want to go to Georgia? I said, yeah, I'm going to go. It's about time for me to give it a shot. He said, you be back. And I was like, no, I won't.
Why do you think he said that?
I don't know. I think it was now it looks spiritual in a sense. But also it felt like he didn't, on a natural level, he didn't want me to leave.
Yeah.
He did not want me to go. And he's always been open that to the day he passed. He always told me he just didn't want me to go. So he says to me, you'll be back. And I was so adamant about telling him that I'm not coming back. Under no circumstance am I coming back. So I moved to Georgia, stayed there for a while, went through the process of divorce, and I moved back to Chicago. And I was talking to him one day when I was in Chicago in 2021. And I was on the phone with him getting some fatherly advice. And he was, all this time, he was like, he said again, like, my prodigal son. And I'm like, will you stop calling me that? I said it to him. He said, well, look at you. You here. You back. And I was like, standing in my kitchen in Chicago, like, you're right. I didn't even realize that I moved back. He was right the whole time.
Right.
But the reason I bring that up is because even though we may get off, we may start making the small things the main thing, and we get off at times.
Yeah.
We forget who our Father is.
Right.
Mm.
We forget, like, we are eating slop and handling things that is not even us. And then realizing when the prodigal son came to himself, he came to himself.
He came to him
and realized who he was and who his dad is. We all know who our dad is.
Yes.
So why would I sit here in the world and say I don't have enough?
This is good, bro.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would I let myself convince that all of us being the prodigal son?
Yeah.
That is like if I'm bringing my children home and they're hungry and I know there's food at the house. It's just from where we are to get to the house.
Yes.
Y'all hungry.
Yes.
It's as if I would imagine how frustrated you would be if your kid pick up your phone and be like, We starving. Dad ain't fed us. He ain't gonna eat. We ain't gonna eat. What we gonna do? It don't make sense.
It don't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
It's not even who you are. They know good and well. That's not.
It's not our character, bro.
It's not your character,
Wow.
and it's not my God's character.
Wow.
For me to have the mindset that I don't have enough. It's like contradictory to our whole gospel for his kids to be walking around thinking that or feeling that way.
Wow.
I'm at such a download right now because the prodigal son comes to himself. He comes home in a mindset of a servant.
Mm-hmm.
He comes home in humility. I won't say that his expectation is low, but I can say that as he has come to himself, he's not thinking higher than himself.
Yes.
His first issue was he thought higher than who he was.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's thinking on the level of who he is.
Yes.
And now he's coming home humility. The father has an expectation that he's waiting, looking for the moment that he shows up. Which I've never seen this in the text before. You have a son coming home, but you have a father coming to meet him, but all of us got a little boy in each and every one of us.
That's true.
And it's something about that little boy coming to himself, realizing because as a child, I had this.
Yes. Yes.
As a child, I had this authority.
Wow.
Yes.
Because when he became old, he jumped out. As a child, I had this happiness.
Yes.
As a child, I had this freedom.
Yes.
As a child, I had this smile. As a child, I had this joy. And I found myself here. I'm going back to me. And he comes home. He's restored. Watch this. When he comes to the child, his man gets the authority. Because his father gives him the ring.
He gave him the ring.
You only give the ring so that's why I'm tripping right now, because Bishop, all them parts of me, I'm with the bros, Bishop Davis is fighting because it's amazing. I've never looked at this text of understanding that when we can come to ourselves and where we are as a child, then God gives us the authority as a man.
That's great. That's great. I also see, as you're talking, when the son went back to the father, I believe the energy behind that is he felt like he spent it all. You gave me my inheritance already. So in his mind, what if he's thinking like, he don't have no more for me? You gave me half of everything.
Wow.
And you got the left of my brother, and then what you gonna use? It can't be enough.
Wow.
And
but see, that's the thinking. Because you gave the inheritance, but it's impossible to give everything because he hasn't died yet.
Right.
He still has his home. He still has
the message.
He still has everything. Wow. I don't know what brother I'm talking to. You have to understand that everything hadn't died yet. Your father hadn't died yet. And there's some for you to come back to.
Yes.
And I know you may have felt like you've lost everything. I know you felt like you've messed up and you've done a whole lot. But I'm telling you, when you come to yourself, you're going to realize that even though you blew it, God has more for you.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
I feel that, man. There's some brothers right now that feel that. That's one thing that divorce has taught us. Because sometimes divorce, you lose.
Yes.
Sometimes it get rough. But it's when you realize there's more in you that you really jump in and see that, guess what? I didn't lose everything. I didn't lose me. I didn't lose that.
Yes.
Some brothers right now hurting because you felt like I lost my kids. But you still hadn't lost the ability to be a father.
You haven't.
Wow, bro.
That's good.
You felt like the 401k might have been wiped, but you hadn't lost your ability to be creative and still earn.
You speaking, bro.
Yeah, you talking.
You feel like you've lost your heart. You've lost your family. But guess what? You still have an opportunity for your heart to heal. You just got to go back, watch this, to the place you were before all that even happened. He came to himself.
He came to, and that place is not outside of you.
Yes, it's in you.
It's in you. Your father is in you.
As a matter, the prodigal son, he thought the stuff made him. Give me my stuff so I can go be me. And it wasn't until he lost the stuff that he realized that ain't him. How do we get to preaching?
No. This is good. This is good. Let me switch keys here before we get out of here. I know of a situation where a brother, his wife has told him, "Hey, I'm one out. I'm good. I'm gonna just go do something else." And I have some thoughts about that, and trying to process like where those thoughts are coming from. I can't say what somebody else should do. I always believe, if at all possible, man, fight for your marriage. Okay.
Right.
But there's also a part of me that if you have voiced what your concerns are, and I have done my best to acquiesce or my best to become that version that you need, because it is in line with the person that I can become.
Yeah.
And I become it, but it's not enough. I'm not in that mind space where I'm going to say, yeah, but you made vows. You can't go, but you made vows. I don't live there. I don't live there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if that is wrong, but I feel like I just want you to have the best for you. I want you to go and live your greatest life. I just don't see myself chasing. Like, I think that I would feel in me if it was coming from a negative or hurt place. Like, I would feel it in my solar plexus. This is where I feel that. But I don't feel that now. And of course, I would never tell him that. But that's my thoughts. My thoughts is like, if you want to go and do something else, then you kind of walking away from something amazing here. Even if I am in the process of becoming, kind of walking away from something amazing here. And if that's just what you choose to do, even God gives us free will.
True.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, your thoughts.
You want in?
Rabbi?
Calling me Rabbi. I think I have maybe some follow-up questions. So are you saying that you're not in the place, of like succumbing to the spouse's thoughts of leaving? Is that the statement you're making?
Succumbing, what do you mean?
You mean like, okay, she wants to leave. She wants out.
Yeah.
So you're saying that I don't want this to end.
No,
but
I'm saying if she wants out, I'm not going to stand in the way. Like,
you're not going to
at
stand
all.
in the way.
Like, I'll ask a few follow-up questions myself, see where we at,
Uh-huh.
what can change, anything can change, if I have capacity to grow anymore, is counseling a thing? And they just say, hey, I'm good. Hey, well, all right then.
You saying if she's saying she want to go, you saying if she want to go, baby, go ahead and walk out the door.
Go ahead and leave. Yeah. I don't know what that makes me look like, but that's why I feel. I genuinely feel that.
But
way.
a relationship, a marriage is a place where you should be able to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I think that's what you're saying. This is my last opportunity to be vulnerable with you. Like, hey, I think you're leaving something great, but I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to stop you from leaving. And
but should we chase?
My gut, no, absolutely not. There's no respect.
Thank you.
It's going to be no respect there.
Thank you.
She's going to keep wiping her feet on you.
And I think that's
what I think.
I've heard people say, yeah, but you made a vow before God. You can't leave. And I just, gentlemen, I mean, please help me. Lord have mercy. I don't want nobody. I don't want to be canceled. I don't want nothing. But I just feel like, man, if you don't want to be here, I'm not going to pull out the God card and be like, yeah, but this is what you said. I ain't going to do that. Maybe it's just me.
No.
And if somebody going to do it, then maybe I don't know if I'm wrong. I don't think you're wrong for doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Pull it out. I'm going to keep it in my pocket and I'm going to use it for something else.
Yeah. Dragging you into counseling and dragging her into counseling when she don't want to be there.
Oh, come on. What is we doing? What are we doing?
Suicide.
Yeah.
Suicide.
What do you think?
Suicide. I think one of the things that I have learned.
You have such trepidation in answering this. You have to tell me what that's about.
Yeah. One of the things that I have learned is that the greatest thing you can ever do, regardless of the situation, is work on you.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
That's where your energy is. She's saying she want to go, work on you. Now I'm going down this lane, working in counseling, it takes a lot of emotional and inner strength to still be open to possibilities.
Mm.
And sometimes I don't know if closing off your heart is the best thing. You want to go?
Mm-hmm.
You go. As a man, work on you. Now, whether God's going to restore and it come back or, that kind of thing, that's what I can't jump in. Now, I know for
facts.
For me,
very good.
That's a tough one. That's a tough
So
one.
you're going to fight.
I'm going to fight for me.
What does that look like?
I'm going to keep growing. You want to go? Go. I'm not begging you. I'm not, no. Because you got to be willing to show up. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yeah. You're not in a marriage by yourself.
No, no. I don't believe in begging. You want to go? You want a divorce? You keep working on you. If you're believing for it, you stay faithful, but move this thing along if that's what you're doing. But I'm working on me. And you're welcome to come join me.
Yeah, I like that point of view.
You're welcome to come join me. I believe God for this, but if you want to go do this, I'm not gonna beg you. I'm not James Brown. I'm not saying please. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But go ahead and move this ball if that's what you need to do. Because here's what I do believe. As I work to become better, either God is going to work on you and you have a moment to come to and we grow a bit together, or you're going to go and do what you're going to do and God's going to replace with something that's straight. Man. But I want to work on me, because here's the thing. What's dangerous about this? If this brother hearts get shut down, beat down, locked up, and you divorce and you try to take that somewhere else,
yeah,
you're taking a blocked heart.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And that's the problem with
because you still with this.
Yeah,
bro, you got to grow. I'm not saying what she did ain't right. I'm not saying that what she did didn't hurt, but you still got to grow. You still with you.
Yeah.
So this is the opportunity for you to do that inner work.
Yeah, you got to put the mask on. You can't take the mask and try to save your marriage, bro. You got to put the mask on you, because you are one of the most essential elements of the marriage.
And I think as you work on you, then it will reveal. Yeah. Because when work on yourself does two things, it either attracts or repels.
Well, let me say this though, because I mean, we know a lot of different stories, but here's one challenge, and this is a tough one to say, but I have to say it. When you have created a soul tie with somebody that you're not married to, and you're married to someone else, and thinking if any hopes of reconciliation there, they diminish tremendously, because your mind is still over there with the person that you genuinely love.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
are you loving the soul tie or the wife? You're saying? I'm gonna make sure I'm following you.
Oh, you genuinely love the soul tie.
Gotcha. I'm just trying to make sure I follow you.
Yeah, you genuinely love the soul tie. I mean, you probably genuinely love your wife. But whatever reason that you made the decision to step out, and then that thing over there is like so much hope. It's so much possibility. It's so much, And so the thought of trying to make your marriage work with that in the back of your head is tough.
It is tough. I want to say something though. I want to challenge or push back on the idea that you genuinely love the soul tie. I challenge that because I think it's perspective.
Oh, you got to help me with that one.
If you're married and you have a soul tie outside of your marriage, it's perspective, meaning that soul tie is not getting all of you.
Sure.
So you have a wonderful relationship with that 20% or 30%. You go home, pay all the bills and do all this. And
I didn't say she genuinely loved you.
Right. But I'm saying.
I said you genuinely love her. What if
until you have her?
What if the soul tie is actually giving you 100% of her? And because the sides, not that you know, okay, not that either of you know, okay, but I'm saying, but the side chick, they show out. especially when they're trying to get you.
But I also get showing out trying to get me. But once you got me, keep going.
Yeah, I'm saying like even if you still don't have 100% of that. So even if she says she's giving you 100%, you do not have 100% if you're married. You don't. You're not waking up to this woman day after day, dealing with all the bills with her, handling the kids with her.
Well, some would say, hey, that's what I messed up.
That's true. It changes.
That's what the problem is.
It changes the narrative. That's why I said that maybe not 100%.
Yeah.
Maybe, and I don't know that love might change once you have her.
Let's say you have, oh, bro. Now let me be, okay, all right.
You get it? Let me say this: like having the side while you still got a wife is too much perspective because she's just extra, and you love the extra. Like, of course, the cheesecake is great to have all the time, but you're gonna get tired of it if you don't get no steak.
What's interesting is if you do leave what you don't like, you also leave
what you do like.
What you do like.
Yes.
And even if it's like if it's an 80-20.
80-20.
You know, you got 80% at home, the other 20% you're getting. If you, let's say you got 60 at home and you're getting 40, let me tell you something. You're walking away from 60%.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's a lot. And honestly, some people's side chick is helping them stay married.
Yes. That's the point I'm trying to make.
People don't want to talk about that.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
People don't want to talk about that.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You got the rub on the show. The side chick is helping them stay married.
I mean, but that is because now, and you're super selfish. Got it. But what it is you got 60%, 75, 80% here, and man, you getting all the other stuff over here. Yes. Woo, I feel 100%. Like I feel great.
Let me say something.
And she don't be talking. She keep her business to herself. She'll put her business out there. Oh, this is amazing. I think nobody will ever know. Not that I'm saying nothing that ain't about nothing. Let me see, before we move past this point, I'm not saying nothing that I ain't saying. I'm saying just...
Man, you've been having barbers calling a lot of sheriffs.
Barbers.
Barber. Hey, is it Barber? Barber just called him?
You know, it's woman and woman.
Hey, Barbara. This is Shirley. There you go.
I want to say something to what you're saying. I think that the integrity that's inside of us will never allow us to be married to the side chick. There's a lot of reasons why I say that. The one reason I say it is because you internally know that she is willing to accept the lower position and she has a lower vision of herself. And there'll be something in you that you just know. It's like, the way I got with you, am I going to lose this the same way that I got you? And there's even a study that says that those relationships don't work.
Yeah, but what about those people who, man, they did in fact marry that? I'm sure that's probably the anomaly. They married their side chick and they still together now. You saying it don't exist ever in life? Nowhere?
I didn't know. I'm not saying they don't exist. That's not what I'm saying. I think what I'm saying is there's something, and I'll hold frame on this. I believe there's a part of us that questions. And the Bible says that the Spirit searches all things, even the deep things. And I think that we're always looking for answers. And when you do that, you're always going to be questioning. Like, I wonder. And I don't know what questions that people in those positions have, but I believe they're there. Because you built it on a lack of integrity. That's just my point.
No, that's factual. And I can only imagine that it would not be, I don't have to imagine. It will not be it will not be a smooth sailing situation.
Right.
Because, let's say for instance, you leave this one, you get with her. Now the side chick is now saying, well, she's your girl now. She's now saying, okay, hey, let's move on with us. It's us now. Mm-hmm. But you still got, my words, my estimation, 2 years of grieving that you got to go through for what you just lost. No matter how the relationship was, no matter how bad it was. You still got 2 years of grieving that you got to deal with, or else you're going to take that baby through hell. And everybody else, and nobody's going to give her any kind of compassion. Yeah, well, this is what you get. You should not have been messing with a married man in the first place. All of that. And all that may be true. I get it. Okay? But I'm saying, factually speaking, listen, it's not going to be as smooth as you think it is. Is it impossible? No, it's not impossible.
It's not impossible.
It's not impossible. But it's not going to be as smooth sailing as you think it is.
I think the common denominator is what Derwin said is like the work on yourself. I think before any of that needs to happen, and we might be able to all speak to this, we probably got into situations at times before we did the accurate work on ourselves.
100%.
So we just took
100%.
the mess from one thing and took it to another one. And to answer the question we were talking earlier, I think if any of that works, like if you start to go through your own work, it's like taking Play-Doh out of a container and sitting it on the table. It's going to change its form. Like when you go to therapy, it's literally taking your thoughts and the things that you thought were normal and questioning it and giving you more conjecture to all of it. It's like you taking all of this Play-Doh out. I'm gonna sit it on the table. Okay, now let's take this. Okay, now let's go back to our relationship. Oh, they don't fit like that no more.
Yeah,
it don't fit because it's changed. And I think one of the things I resented when I was going through divorce is everybody was saying like, y'all need counseling, y'all need counseling, y'all need counseling. And it didn't matter to me that we were doing counseling if nobody was seeing me. Bro, and man, to all the divorced men, I feel like we are the most unseen people. Like when you divorce, you are wrong. Everybody goes to rally around the wife and let's see how she's doing. And what did you do? You did something.
It's always our fault.
It's always something, even with the kids to some point. Like everything in life is geared to making sure she's okay.
If she cheated on you, apparently you did something to make her feel unsafe in that relationship, for her to feel like she needed to go out. It is never, never, never not our fault. And so this is my pet peeve. If I can stay here for just a second, if y'all can embellish me. Here's my challenge when it comes down to Black men in the church and you're going through in your marriage and you're on the brink of divorce. It's like, okay, first of all, we all know and we're clear on the fact that cheating is not the thing that you need to do. Let's be clear on that.
Right.
Let's level with that, we know. And when you are a good guy and you're married to a woman who understands that the books are cooked in her favor, sometimes her no is solid. Because now, not only are you not going to cheat, but you're also not going to divorce me. You're not going to divorce me because in the church, sometimes divorce is worse than cheating.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you probably,
you're right.
I'm not going to say that.
You said a thing.
But it's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's two double negatives. And so it's like, who do we have that's checking her? So you go to counseling. Oh boy, I don't sound like the bitter guy. But you go to counseling and then she is just so inflamed that it's like sometimes you're trying to get a word in. He or she got to spend all their time fixing her fire.
Yes.
Because there's a whole 4-alarm, 9-alarm fire going on right here. Mm-hmm. And you just want to say, hey man, I just really want some sex. You know, I just want you to see me, you know. I just want you to just kind of listen sometimes when I say something. Mm-hmm. He don't this, he don't that. And so he got to deal with that. And it's a lot. It's a lot. No sweeping generalizations intended. But it's like for being a man and being married and having trouble in your marriage, sometimes there's really where are you going to go, bro?
Yeah.
Because who listens?
I think the way it's set up that we, as men, we have to play the role most of the time.
Play the role. What does that mean?
Play the role. Like we have to be strong. We have to, in the marriage, we have to be strong. And with our kids, we have to be strong. We have to literally hold frame in most situations. Mm-hmm. So when a divorce is happening, it's only natural that it seems like the feminine energy will fall apart, right? It's because you're the structure, the frame, and she sits inside of the frame. When she's outside of the frame, all of the structure is not there anymore. So everybody comes to adhere to the thing that doesn't seem like they have together. However, this frame that she was in is cracked.
Yeah.
It's cracked and breaking, but you should have it. Even the kids in the situation would be like, let's go see about mom. Let's go check on mom. Let's this, and she's by herself.
You know why? Because she's crying and you're not.
And you're not.
You look like you're crying. Okay.
Inner
bro, inside you balling.
But you can't show nobody you cry.
Nah, you can't show nobody you crying, bro.
Nope.
You crying, I mean, it takes a special dude. Now we fall apart with each other.
Well, and that's where the circle comes in, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm so thankful for the bros and the community because that's that we get this. Hey, man, I see you, and I see your cracks, and I want to say this publicly to both of you all. I mean, that night you called me on my crack because I was using that time trying to patch up this crack after the divorce.
Mm-hmm.
And you like, bro.
A lot of cracks in there, Doc. I mean, use another word, maybe. I'm just, I'm not mature enough for, I really am not. I'm trying.
In the frame.
In the framework. Okay, good. Okay, good. You call my crack.
For this.
This guy here.
That's hilarious.
All right, man. I love y'all, bro. I mean that. This has been a good conversation. Takeaways from today's conversation.
Be honest and love yourself because you are your primary lover.
My takeaways are the same. Like, don't deny yourself because it's really the foundation for everything that needs to be built on as a man.
That too is my takeaway. It's like you have to love yourself and be intentional about making sure that you're good. And let me say this to you brothers. Check on your strong friend.
Yeah.
Check on him because that's important. He may not let you know that he's having a tough time. But sometimes you just gotta get him on the phone. And if he falls on your heart, just say, man, let's go. Do woo woo woo. Me, I'm gonna do it. Hey, bro, what you doing? Come to the tent.
Yeah.
Come on to the tent, man. Let's chop it up. And I think that's important because it's not just for you.
Yeah.
It's for me too.
Yeah.
I need that.
Yeah.
Hands down. All right. Hey, don't forget to subscribe. I know I didn't say it earlier, but why do I gotta keep saying this? Y'all please subscribe, like, share, do all of the things. I appreciate it. Matter of fact, if you're still watching, just go ahead and hit that like button now. And subscribe. Appreciate you. Love you. Man up.